Hey guys, welcome to September's speed reviews. This is going to be a roundup of all of the stuff that I tested for the month of September. I have 21 different unique items, and most of these are actually new releases. I'm so glad that I've slowed down, that I only have 20 to go over with you guys. Usually in my speed reviews I'm literally going over 60, sometimes 70 products, but usually way more than 20. So I'm happy that I've kind of slowed down on buying the new releases. I've really just tried to target the stuff that I think that I would like. So most of this I'm actually very pleased to share with you that I do enjoy, and I think out of this video there's actually going to be some of my favorites for 2024, some of my favorite releases for the year. And I've already done the roundup for half the year, and that is up on my channel if you guys are interested in seeing what of the new releases were my favorite so far in 2024. I'm going to do essentially a roundup from that point on at the end of the year. Now last month I tried on all of this stuff. I literally probably sat up here for 2 hours just putting on blush and taking it off, because I think I had 20 different blush that I was talking about. It's crazy, you guys, it's crazy. And I do have quite a few blush in today's video, but not as many. But I still only tried on what I ended up putting on my face. So if you guys are interested in seeing any of the products that I'm going through, I have either a dedicated video or a testing new makeup video where I do try those products on camera. So if you guys are interested in seeing those things that I'm not showing in today's video, please check out my channel. It will be there in some form, some fashion. But the rest of the stuff that I did try on for you guys, I do show cutaways, so you guys can see how this stuff applied. This is a purchase or pass video. I do tell you guys whether or not I think something is a purchase or whether I think it is just not worth your money, and move along. And of course I do have everything linked in the description box in case you guys are interested. I also include the shades of everything that I'm showing you guys too. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let's get into it. All right, so first off, I actually want to talk about a product that isn't a makeup item necessarily. This was from Makeup Revolution. I had this for several months. If you guys watch my everyday makeup video, I had this to test for so long and just didn't get to it. This is essentially a clay roller ball that's meant to suck up some of the oils and mattify you when you start getting oily throughout the day. I have combo oily skin, and especially in the summertime I'm sweating a ton, so I thought a product like this would be good. And they make more expensive products like this, but I wanted to try something that was more affordable, so I picked this up from Ulta. I think it's just called the Blur Stick. Anyway, I didn't like this. This worked in sucking up the oils, but it picked up a lot of the product. And I don't know if that's normal for these kinds of products, that they just tend to do that, but it was lifting the foundation, especially off of my nose. So this is a pass. I don't recommend you pick that up. I will be, I don't know, maybe giving it to my sister who has even more oily skin, and maybe she enjoys it. It might be good for people who wear very little foundation and just want to suck up some of the oils throughout the day in lieu of oil absorbing pad, but it's not for me. So, bye. Okay, next I have one primer, and this is a new release. It's the Easy Blur Primer from Huda Beauty. This is gonna go into my favorites for this year because I freaking love this thing. It's kind of a silica base product, but it's not drying. It's so much more moisturizing when it goes on the skin. It's so much more emollient. It feels hydrating when it goes on, as opposed to something that's a blurring primer that's maybe a little bit more mattifying, that definitely feels like it's mattifying when you're putting it on. It's very different than my other blurring primers that I have. It's quite unique, and I think that's why I really enjoy this product. You can really see night and day how glowy my skin just normally is after sunscreen and after moisturizing in the morning, and how I come up here before I put on my makeup, because that's literally what I put on my face before I put this primer on, and you can really see it start to blur, but it does it in a way that isn't drying on the skin. It looks like it would be, but it isn't. You guys, if you could feel it, it's very slippy. I actually really enjoy this. I don't think that it's mattifying again. I don't think it controls my oils, but it's super blurring. So it does its job, and it does it better than some of my other blurring primers that I have in my collection. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. I love it. If you guys have similar preferences to me, that is an easy purchase. All right, you guys, I had 3 new Complexion products, and they're all new releases. So the first one goes along with the primer. It's the Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation from Huda Beauty. I have mine in the shade 200B Shortbread. This is absolutely beautiful. This isn't a mattifying product, again, just like the Easy Blur Primer, but it's very blurring. That's what it does super duper well. It's also not a super long lasting formula on my combo skin. It's just super blurring. It's a natural finish. It leaves my skin a little bit glossy and a little bit highlighted, and I feel hydrated when I use this. I just think my skin looks extremely smooth. This is also made in Italy. It was so good, you guys. Again, this is gonna be another product that I think is in my best of beauty for 2024. So this is a huge purchase from me. Okay, moving on, another new release was the new foundation from Patrick Ta. It's called the Major Skin Hydrolux Luminous Skin Perfecting Foundation, and this one is in the shade 6 Neutral. Patrick actually does like a really good job with shades. I'm in Makeup by Mario's foundation. A 5N is too dark for me, so I feel like he started pretty high in like the lightest of colors in the line, where I think Patrick did probably a little bit better. Aside from the shade, this got a lot of hate initially, and I didn't get to review it immediately, but I think I did purchase it on the day it launched. But I don't dislike this. It's a thin, runny formula, but the minute you start touching it, it gains consistency, it gains texture. It's really interesting, and it gets tacky on the skin. So it's like teetering on too thick and unabsorbable into the skin. And I hate foundations like that. I really don't like ones that are thick and tacky and not like super lightweight and have a hard time sinking into the skin. Those are the foundations that just don't work for me. But this one is like, it's right there. It's almost there, but it just makes it where it's just at the edge of how sticky it can be and how thick it can be. The best way I have found to apply this is to press it into the skin with a brush. You can probably do it with a sponge too, but it's really light coverage with the amount that I put on, because I do tailor the amount with this foundation more so than I do with other foundations. Sometimes I throw a lot on, like a lot of product goes on, but this one really try to keep it minimal, and then I try and take that brush and really just push it into the skin. And I think it's really glowy, like super glowy and like almost sticky. But again, it just reaches that point where it's not too much and it can be mattified. I don't think it's overly long lasting. It's just healthy looking. So I definitely don't recommend this product to people with really oily skin, and I don't recommend it to people with combo skin who aren't looking for a healthy glow. I don't think it's greasy once you powder it, but I think it's kind of greasy before you powder it. I just think it looks healthy. And you guys can see on the left side of my face, like I'm not overly dewy yet, but if I'm gonna wear this, it's because I've made up my mind that I'm looking for a healthy glow for the day. I don't hate this foundation, you guys, I don't. And coming from combo skin and somebody who hates thick, textured, weighted foundations, I don't think this one is bad. The next one, however, is terrible. So this one I think is good. I wouldn't repurchase this. I'll tell you that right now. This is not going to become a holy grail for me. I just don't think it was a bad foundation. The way that I consider bad in terms of foundations. And speaking of the devil, was the new release from RMS Beauty. It's the Sun Cover Up Skin Tint Super Hydrant SPF 50. I have mine in the shade Alabaster, which is the lightest shade. So they could have gone lighter, because I don't consider myself the lightest of skin tones, but this is the lightest of lightest, I think. Maybe there's one lighter, but I don't think so. This does what I was talking about the Patrick Ta, like getting very close to doing wrong. It pumps out liquidy. Like as soon as you start rubbing it in, consistency changes, and it immediately becomes this really sticky, really tacky formula, and it's so thick. I would even call this like a full coverage product, but it did it too much. It's too sticky, it's too thick, it never sinks into my skin, and it lifts off of my face. I mean, if it doesn't sink in, it's probably gonna lift off of someone who has combo skin. I mean, even maybe somebody who has dry skin. This is just way too thick of a texture. Didn't enjoy it, you guys. I could not get this to work. I couldn't get it to not break apart. And the only reason it typically breaks apart is because it's not sinking into your skin like it should be. It's too weighted, it's too thick, it's just splitting up, especially when you have combo skin. I felt like this was a terrible release. Honestly, the Uncover Up foundation that comes in the glass jar too is kind of a similar consistency. A lot of you guys have said that the liquid foundation is really good. It's very thin formula, so maybe that's a great one. I don't know, but the two that I've tried from RMS Beauty have just been super duper thick, and I will not be using this. I've even held onto the box because I'm going to be passing this along. I really did not like this product, and I really haven't heard anybody say that they love it yet, so it's probably going to go in my worst of beauty for 2024. All right, let's finish up with the complexion products. I tried my very first CL product. This is the Conceal and Protect SPF 50 Concealer. This is a mineral SPF 2, and this one is in the shade 04N. I actually think it's a pretty good shade match. It's maybe a little bit warm, maybe a little bit deep, but I actually don't think it's terrible once I blend it in. This is a gorgeous full coverage concealer, and I don't like a lot of full coverage concealers, and I don't like ones that are usually thick. I like them super duper thin, like basically watery serum concealers is kind of my preference as it comes to both foundations and concealers. I like a very lightweight serum-like consistency. So this isn't typically what I would gravitate towards, but it sinks into the skin perfectly. It's great coverage. It isn't drying. It doesn't sink into fine lines. It's an amazing full coverage concealer. It's gonna become one of my favorite full coverage concealers. I probably only have two or three full coverage concealers out of my what I would consider larger collection, and I think that it's probably going to go in my best of beauty for 2024 for the remainder of the year as well. So I think this is a purchase also, and it's definitely making me want to try the foundation. I think it's a full coverage like serum foundation from CL. Oh, you guys, I'm going to end up trying it before the end of the year just because I enjoyed this so much. So all the CL products, the blush, that's probably it. I've just been enjoying them so much, it's convincing me that I need to try more from the line. Okay? Yes. All right, the last complexion product is the powder from Tower 28. It's the Get Set Translucent, I don't know, Get Ready, Get Set Blur Powder, I guess is what it is. And this one is in the shade Translucent. They do come in other shades. So this doesn't come with a mirror on the inside. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh no, mirror? I mean, I never use a mirror. So for me, it really doesn't matter. Now, originally I was not going to get this because I figured that Tower 28 would come out with something that was more lightweight and more of a finishing powder. I wasn't expecting it to be a more mattifying powder, especially with the name Get Ready, Get Set, and Blur. I kind of thought like Blur was kind of the like exclamation there. So I skipped on this when it was a new release. And I don't know where or how I stumbled upon it, but I started reading the reviews for this, and a bunch of people were saying that it was a heavier powder and they had dry skin and it just didn't look good. It was drying them out. And I was like, oh, that's for me. That's for me then. That's for me. And that's what made me purchase it, was the reviews saying that it was a heavier powder. That's basically what I was looking for because that's what I like. I prefer a heavier powder. I have two powders that are finishing powders. I have literally decluttered everything else. I have one that's a finishing powder that calls itself that, but it's more of a setting powder. Anyway, I thought this was gorgeous. I don't think it's the most long-lasting powder that I have. You know, if I'm looking for something super long-lasting, I will reach for a powder foundation, usually to set my face, if I know that it's a day I need to overly mattify. But it does such a beautiful job blurring and mattifying in a short period of time without feeling dry on my skin. So it might be something that's really good for people that have normal combo oily skin. Maybe not oily, but definitely normal and combo skin. So I don't think it's gonna go into my best of beauty for the year, but I really enjoyed this powder. I'm glad I read the reviews and I'm glad that I picked it up. So if you're like me, I think it's a purchase. All right, let's move on into eye products. If you guys watched my last speed reviews, I had a ton of AOA Studio makeup because I did a huge haul and I did a dedicated video, but there were some things that I didn't get to test, and there's even more that I'm still testing. Some of them I rehauled. I liked a lot of stuff from AOA Studio in that haul video, so I went back to the website, picked up some of my favorite things that I enjoyed, and then I looked around for some more stuff. If you guys don't know, AOA Studio is a super affordable brand. This probably cost me $1. Most of their stuff ranges from like $1 to $4. The most expensive thing I got was like a $10 pack of like 5 sponges, which is still super cheap. But the foundation, $4. These things, $1. There was one blush that I ended up getting for 25 cents. So because it's such an affordable brand, I feel like telling you guys what my experience has been in certain categories of products is probably helpful, especially if you guys love to window shop and that sort of thing, or find affordable makeup. So I have more eye products in today's video, none of the blush. Those will be in next month's speed reviews. The single one that came in a compact that I purchased was the shimmer eyeshadow. It's Fly With Me in Firefly. This is all right. You know, this is a decent package for a single shadow. It's not dissimilar to some of the packaging of the more expensive shadows that I have, but it is what it says it is. It's really just a shimmer shadow. It's not metallic, it doesn't have any sparkles, it's just shimmery and has sheen, and this one is a little bit warm in the shade in Firefly. So I actually wouldn't repurchase this. So far with the 2 eye products that I've tried and the eyeshadow palettes that I've tried from AOA Studio, which is about 4 or 5 at this point, like 2 palettes and 3 single shadows, I think. I don't recommend these pressed ones. The loose pigments that they had, fabulous. I think those were like $1.88 and those are amazing. But the pressed ones, I wasn't a huge fan of. They're just not remarkable. I have stuff like this in individual palettes. So for me, this was a pass. The other one I bought came separately, so I put it in a Make compact because I don't have like an individual one. This one is in the shade Saint, but yeah, it just came like this. This is the one that I'm wearing today. I mean, it's nice and fine. If you're somebody who likes shadows like this, you don't like sparkles on your eyes, and you like something pretty simple for an everyday look, then this is great for $1. I mean, where else do you find prices like this for $1 when it's not like going out of stock or discontinued and then etc, etc. So this is really pretty, and so is the other one. If you guys like something light, super light. This is not a single situation where it's got a ton of sparkles. It's just an everyday shadow. Then I think these are good for the price point. The last eye product was the Artista eyeliner, and this is a liquid eyeliner pen, and I purchased it in brown. Now when I first tried this thing, I thought it sucked because it was like super watery. It wasn't showing up over the shadow that I had used, which I think was the loose pigment. Oh, again, this is from AOA Studio, sorry you guys. But I wanted to try an eyeliner because everything is getting expensive. You buy a brow product, you can spend $26. I just think that's crazy, you guys. It's like the tiniest little product of makeup. We're paying basically for packaging at this point. So anyway, a lot of my liners that work really well are drugstore and are more affordable. I don't think of spending a ton of money on liners a lot. So anyway, but the more I use it and the more that I shake it up, it got more opaque. This is a waterproof non-budge formula. I don't think it's like super matte though. You know, it's nice, it's just lighter. It's a lighter brown. It's not super intensely opaque and matte. It's not like shimmery or anything. It's just not a hard matte formula. So actually, if you guys are more interested in lighter liners like this and you happen to find yourself on AOA Studio and you want to test some of the colors out, I actually think it's good if you're not looking for something super intensely matte. But again, it's no budge, it's waterproof, all that good stuff. It applies really easily. This is like these pen style, they're my favorite, but they take a lot of shaking when you first get them. But for $1, I would definitely get more shades in this. All right, let's just go over the last eye product. This is a new release from Charlotte Tilbury. It's the Exaggerize Volume Mascara. I really personally like this, but there are a couple of things wrong for me in loving a volumizing mascara in this formula, if that made any sense. I really like something that's very, very tacky and grips to the lashes. That's how I like my volume. It doesn't get clumpy, but you don't need more than one layer to really build it up super intensely because the formula is very sticky and it just immediately sticks to the lashes. However, sometimes that makes the mascara heavier, which I don't personally mind, but I know that some people really don't like a weighty formula when it comes to their mascara. So this does a really good job with volumizing. I will say though, it is such a emollient formula with very little stick to it that you do have to build this up to get intensity. I think on first pass, it's just kind of like a normal standard mascara. I layered 2 coats today, but in the past I have done 3 and 4 coats on this because it's just not as intense as I like. If you guys like a really buildable mascara because you don't like weighted formulas, you like something more emollient and creamy and lightweight on the lashes, then I think this is good. The one that performs pretty similarly in terms of like how lightweight it is and how buildable is the Gucci mascara. Those are really the only 2 that I've tested that kind of have similar formulas that really, really build on themselves. The thing with this one is it will start getting clumpy, where the Gucci mascara will not get clumpy, but it is transfer proof, you guys. It doesn't budge at all, at all. I do think though, if you put 3 coats on, by the end of the night, your lashes are crunchy. That's part of why it stays so long and it's really transfer proof. It dries down really well. So anyway, I think it's a decent mascara. It's not gonna be my favorite release for 2024. And I don't think it's gonna be like a mascara that I end up running to all the time. The thing is, it does a better job than some of my other volumizing mascaras in giving me like a little bit of a curl because it's not weighted. So that's kind of what it does really good, and that's why I held on to the Gucci mascara for so long, because it was buildable and lightweight, and sometimes that's better than just getting like intensity. So anyway, don't think it'll become my favorite, but hopefully all of those notes helps you guys. It's in a super, super heavy glass jar component, whatever this is, tube. And I have not had a heavier mascara than this. Maybe the one from Queen Musea that's in like a ceramic component. But anyway, this is like, oh, shit, that hurts. This is heavy. Anyway, all right, moving on. All right, let's move on to the multiple blush and cheek products that I have. All of these blush are new releases. So this one is from Freck. This is the Cheek Slime Lip and Cheek Tint. I wanna say they reformulated these. This one is in the shade Love Flush. This is more of a whipped liquid texture. It's not runny at all. It's not super emollient. It has really decent pigmentation. It's more opaque than sheer. And I like the way that it applies. It has an even application and it goes on pretty nice, because for a liquid blush, it's very cream-like. The problem with this is it faded terribly. It faded unevenly. Some blushes will do that. They just don't stick in certain spots. It wasn't like I was sweating a lot. It was just wearing unevenly. Like I would miss like a whole chunk. So that usually is an indication of like if I touched it or something and then it just decided to come off and like completely in that one spot. I did not love the way that this faded, is essentially what I'm getting at. So I really don't recommend this. And I don't love the shade either. It's too terracotta for me too. So this is probably one that I'm gonna end up passing along. All right, I do have a dedicated video to these. These are the Baby Got Blush from Essence, and I actually really do enjoy these. These again feel like a creamy texture, a creamy liquid blush, where they're not like serum-like, they have a moussiness to them. And these ones are pretty intensely opaque too. These are not like sheerable at all. They actually come out quite intense on my cheeks. I think part of the reason it took me so long to test the blush is because I test every one of the shades more than once so I can get an idea of which ones I like. The orange one here is in Coral Crush. The dusty or rose shade is in Dusty Rose. The more pink shade is in Pinkalicious. I think the Pinkalicious is a little bit intense. It's a little bit hot pink for me. Again, these are pretty intensely pigmented, so I don't think that you can dial these back a whole ton. So I do think that the shade really matters, but they fade graciously and they last on the face all day. So I actually really do enjoy these. These are a little bit different in terms of like the puff style. It has a hole at the top instead of like the Charlotte ones, the Tarte ones, the Flower Beauty ones. Like the product shoots out of multiple holes. This one has a very distinct hole right in the middle. And I'm going to tell you how this packaging component here failed on me with one of these. So far the blush have been doing good. I do like these. Do I think you need to run out and purchase them? No. No, no, no. In fact, I will probably end up getting rid of 2 of the 3 shades. I just ended up buying these to do a try on video because these were new releases. So they're good, but they're not my favorite. I so much more prefer these. The Lumi Lay Liquid Blush. We've been seeing a bunch of liquid blush coming from the drugstore. Maybelline did the Sun Kisser blushes. We got the Essence ones. We have these ones. Who else am I missing? But these probably were my absolute favorite of the releases of the liquid blush that are from the more affordable brands. And I feel like these have the ability to be intense, but to be sheer, but they also have texture and they blend in better. Overall, they're just the better, more superior formula. What I have found is they come in 2 different types, dewy and glowy. And the glowy version is metallic. The dewy version is just more dewy. Although I think when you buff these out, like by applying the product to the back of your hand and picking it up with a dense brush and bouncing it into the cheeks, they honestly look more soft matte. I don't notice a radiance or a dewiness with these. And the shades that I have, like the deeper orange shade is Dewy Worth It. The one that's a brighter kind of peachy shade is Dewy Rich Coral. And then the one that's red is the Glowy True Rose. And the Glowy True Rose is my favorite. I think the consistency of this texture is just thicker, which is like basically kind of a potted cream product that they just decided to stick in a tube. So it makes the formula pretty easy to work with. My point is, I quite enjoy these. I think that I probably would pass along the Rich Coral shade and keep the other two, the Dewy Worth It and the True Rose. I just don't know if I need all three shades. Coral was just maybe just a little bit bright for me. Like there it is. It's just a little bit extra orange instead of like pink, where I kind of think this is more coral. So anyway, you guys, I do recommend these if you're looking for an affordable liquid blush. I don't think that these were bad at all. I will not be decluttering them. All right, the last blush, and these are new releases and they're my favorite, are from Fenty. These are the Suede Powder Blush. I have Bacon Cakes in the more nude shade, and then the hotter pink one is in Petal Pop. When I first tried these on in a testing new makeup video on camera, I didn't like the way that they applied. They looked patchy, they were hard to pick up. And partly it's because it's almost more creamy and less powdery, but now I absolutely love them because I think the trick to this formula is using a dense brush to really pack that pigment on that brush and get it onto your cheeks. And I have not another formula that is as blurring as this that still calls itself powder. I would say this is the most blurring powder formula I have, and these will certainly go in my Best of Beauty for 2024 this year. And honestly, I think that they are a really long-lasting formula too. In fact, I think I will be going back to the website to buy the shimmery ones because they have ones that have a little bit of shimmer in them. Genuinely how much I like these at the current moment. Okay, moving on to highlighters, and all of these are new releases. So this next one is the highlighting formula from Essence in the Baby Got Glow formula. And this one is in Sassy in Silk. Here's where the packaging failed on me. So this highlighter formula, even though it's a liquid highlighter, again, it's very similar to the blush in that it's creamy, it has more texture to it, it's a little bit of a thicker formula, which makes them very, very easy to blend into the skin, but it's also that they're a little bit more on the dry side. This particular product has clogged on me multiple times. The little hole has gotten clogged, and at one point I was filming with it in my highlighter collection and declutter video, and I squeezed it, and because it was stuck, the whole thing came flying out all over the room. The majority of this product is probably missing from this component now. I've lost so much product because of that. And since then, it has gotten clogged again. I've been smarter about like where I squeeze it and kind of like making sure it has a little bit of resistance over the hole before I squeeze it like crazy, but the packaging totally failed on this at least twice at the current moment, and one time it was really bad. So anyway, even though I like the formula, and this is not an overly intense highlighter, and it's on the drier side and it's super easy to blend in and it lasts a good amount of time, I do not recommend this to you guys because mine and its packaging just failed. And I think it'll continue to do that too because this is just a drier formula, and I'd hate to like get something to poke it every so often to keep it from clogging. So anyway, no, this is just a pass. It's a decent formula, it's just probably not for that component. All right, this is gonna be one of my favorite releases for 2024. It's the Gucci highlighter, and this is called the Multi-Use Silky Illuminating Powder. They can never just call something a highlighter. It has to be like the illuminating powder. Anyway, in Opal Pink. You see that a lot with luxury brands. This is like a putty formula. It's like a powder gel. I love formulas like this for highlighters. This is not the first of its kind in my collection. Cali Ray has one. Who else? Jaclyn Cosmetics has made formulas like this. Not dissimilar, just amazing. And this is not a shade that I have either in the two others that are like putty like this. Mine are more like champagne icy. And this one in Opal Pink is fabulous and stunning. And this is super light reflecting too, but it doesn't have any glitters, which a lot of people ask. No glitters in this. It's not sitting on it. It definitely melts into the skin, but because it's a highlight and because it's icy, it's showing my texture. Maybe not emphasizing, but showing, but all highlighters will do that. Does it overdo it? Absolutely not. This is a gorgeous formula. And if you're a fan of Gucci products, this is a good one. This really is a good one. Now this could have been put out by anybody. It didn't have to be Gucci. And if I had tested this formula, it would probably wind up in my Best of Beauty for 2024, just because I'm really big fan of this kind of formula overall. Anyway, I think it's icy. I think it's pretty long lasting. I love this shade. I like the shade range that this came out in. Big fan of Gucci, I think. The packaging here is not overly sturdy, but it's not super duper cheap. Like Gucci sometimes just teeters on the edge. So anyway, I really enjoyed this. So I think it's a purchase. All right, the very last highlighter is from Moira Beauty. This is the Glow Show liquid highlighter, and I have mine in the shade Vanilla Bliss. I have tried other highlighting formulas before. They were in this doe foot style like this, okay? The Made by Mitchell ones, the Juvia's Place ones. What other ones have I done? I could probably open my drawer and there'd be other ones like this that have this doe foot style applicator. These liquid formulas that turn into what I consider almost like a cream because they're a little bit textured, but they're still thin, I have not always had the best of luck with. But this one from Moira Beauty, I think is stunning. And every time I say when Moira is gonna go for something, they're just gonna do it right. Because I don't hear enough people love Moira Beauty, I have to say. This sinks into the skin, it's icy, it's light reflecting, it doesn't overemphasize texture, and because it's a liquid that's drier, it blends in perfectly. What are these, $8.50? Everything at Moira is $8.50. So I think this was a good add to their line. I thought it was absolutely beautiful and it stays a decent amount of time. All right, you guys, we're down to the last 3 products and they're all lip products. If you guys have ever seen any one of my everyday makeup videos or my Project Pan videos, you know, hold on. My absolute favorite gloss in the entire world is Getting Low, and it's discontinued because Marc Jacobs doesn't even exist. This is the Enamored Dazzling Gloss in Pink Paradise. I have tried hundreds upon hundreds of lip products, but none of them are as beautiful as this one. It just has like a pink base. It's not sticky, it's very smooth, but it lasts, and it has blue reflex. And I'm nearly at the end. And I have been sad about it for a while, and this still smells minty. It doesn't smell like it's gone bad. If it is, I'm still using it, okay? So anyway, the next product, this is from Juvia's Place. It's one of the, I think just their like sparkly glosses in Flower Girl. And I got it because even though it's not like a pink base, it has the blue sparkles that I really like. This just ain't it. This is not the replacement that I was looking for. Not that I don't love Juvia's Place glosses. They're a little bit thicker, but not sticky. They have good lasting power. I have several Juvia's Place glosses in my collection, and I have bought a ton of Juvia's Place lip products over the years. They are very good. Almost every formula that I've tried from Juvia's Place. It's just that this particular color is a little bit too blue. There is quite a bit of base to the sparkle. So I think I have a little bit of blue frosty lips when I use this. I know it's not like an exact dupe, but it was blue, you know, and I just thought like, oh, that blue reflect is gonna look so good. And this gloss might look great on top of something else, but it's just not the replacement that I was like thinking it would be. I don't know. So anyway, it's pretty. Juvia's Place has a ton of other lip formulas that even you guys have recommended to me. I thought this was good. I don't really like the shade, to be honest. All right, this is another great one from Moira. It's the Butter Bliss Lip Balm, and this one is in Petal Pop. This is a new release for this year. I think it's been out for a few months at this point. This is a beautiful balm. It's like, again, very thick, but not sticky. It lasts a good amount of time. Some people have said that the fruity scent smells like kids' cough syrup. So those are the reviews there. I don't smell it. It smells like fruity, but not like kids' cough syrup. Not to me, not to my nose. I just think this is such a good balm formula that's very comparable to all the other balms that are going around that we're paying $30 a tube for. That's what I really think. I think Moira Beauty, when they dupe something or come out with something on their own, they freaking kill it. They kill it. Their quality control must be great. The team that creates the ideas to come up with their products must be freaking fabulous. Yeah, I don't smell kids' cough syrup. I smell something fruity. Thick, not sticky, lasts a while. This thing is delicious, this component. This one's hard. It's not like the Summer Fridays one, but I like it. It's curved appropriately. Yes, I would get some more. So many more of these. Yes, I would. All right, the very final lip product is the one I'm wearing today. I don't like it. It's from Kulfi. It's called the Lassie Lip Staining Lip Oil in Tamarind. This is not terribly dissimilar to the ones that Rare Beauty came out with. And then after that, I think Sephora came out with ones. I personally am just not a fan of lip products that are a stain, that little bit of gloss happens in the beginning and they're really, really thin. I don't know, you guys, that's just not my preferred lip product. And the more that I'm filming with this and like looking back in the viewfinder, I don't even like the way that my lips look. They're starting to look like patchy. All I've been doing is talking. I haven't done anything. I haven't had anything to drink. I just don't think it fades graciously. I don't think it applies evenly. I don't love this shade, but I don't think it's a bad shade. Yeah, just not a fan of the formula. Honestly, maybe I don't know why I bought this, but yeah, I kind of feel like this is gonna end up going in my worst to beauty for 2024, just personally. I know there's at least one of you out there that really likes this formula, and that's fine. We're not the same. I love you anyway, okay? That's a no for me. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys aren't currently subscribed, I'd love to see you subscribe so you can stick around. I'm out of here for today, you guys. I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye.